Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We'll get started here in a few minutes. Just wanted to get in and get the feed going live. So happy you could join us today. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here today, guys. We appreciate it. Again, we'll get started here in just a few minutes. But I want to thank you for being here. My name is Benson Juarez. I'm one of the owners here at Privy. And we're going to be doing some cool things today. We're going to find some deals live. We're going to show you some new ways to leverage data and technology and automation and software in your business so you can get better results, make some money, right? That's what we're all doing this for. Hello, everyone. And we'll give it a minute or more. Okay, we'll get started here in just one more minute. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Benson Juarez. I'm one of the owners here at Privy. And we're using a brand new platform today, actually. We're using a new company called Restream that we're testing for the first time. I did a test on Friday and it worked pretty well. And I'm actually looking now in the Facebook group, and it looks like it is showing in the group as well. So excited to have you here with us. Obviously, since we're streaming here, the replay will stay posted in the group, so you can go back and watch it in case you missed parts of it or in case you just missed it all together. But really appreciate you taking time to be here today. I'm actually, I've been in the business for about 20 years, 20 years plus. I've done everything from real estate investing, having to do with wholesale, fix and flip. I'm currently have properties in Colorado as well as St. Louis. And I'm also a licensed real estate agent. And I actually am very fortunate to be operating at the intersection of my two passions, which happens to be real estate and technology. But we've been talking to investors for years. Privy's been around for over 10 years now, believe it or not. And we actually have come out from behind the curtain, and you may have started to hear a lot more about us because we did launch nationwide about a year and a half ago. But one of the things that makes us really unique is that we have multiple different data sources. And one of those sources is the most accurate data for comping, analyzing deals, getting local market insights, and that's direct to MLS data. Wherever you see that these blue areas on the map is where we currently have live direct to MLS data, and that data is the best information that's available. It allows you to be able to um, analyze properties, run your comparables, get, like I said, get local market insights, get information about real estate agents. It's really, really powerful. Hello. Hey, Shane. Yep. Yeah, I'm streaming live to the group right now. Yeah, the 27 people, they should be viewing this on Facebook, not in the group. They can't join the stream. Yeah, that's for I don't know why you guys aren't in the room. I'm not seeing you, but they're not going to watch it there. They're watching it on Facebook. Yeah, just let people know those links were just for you, not for the people to view it. They're going to view it in Facebook, like we talked about. Yeah, it's just the link to the Facebook group is where we're doing this. We're streaming this live to the Facebook group. Okay. Mm-hmm. No, you won't be. There's something wrong with whatever link you clicked. You won't be on stage with me. I'm just going to continue the stream. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I apologize about that. That was actually Shane. We're streaming this to the group there, so you can view this live on in the Facebook group. Okay. I will give this maybe one more minute for people. Looks like people are starting to join us. More and more people joining in. Okay, here we go. All right, we'll give it another minute or so, and then I'll start over. It looks like we got more and more people jumping in. Okay. All right, we'll give it one more minute here. Okay. Cool. All right. So I will start over. So my name is Benson Juarez. I'm one of the owners here at Privy. We're a real estate investment software company. We help real estate investors and real estate agents, wholesalers, buy and hold investors, creative deal structure types of people to more easily find and analyze deals leveraging data, technology, and automation. I've personally been in the business for over 20 years, done everything from doing fix and flip, buy and hold, currently building a rental portfolio, do most of my business here in Colorado, also in the St. Louis market. Um, Privy's been around for over 10 years, and you may have started to hear more about Privy here in recent years because we did launch nationwide. Before, we were only in specific markets, and those specific markets were guided by where we have and got our local market and direct to MLS data. And that actually is one of the things that makes us unique. We're the only platform in the world that has direct to MLS data on scale. And so that gets you access to the best information available to be able to run analysis on properties, get deals, get leads, understand local market insights. Wherever you see blue on the map is where that live direct to MLS data is already launched. Where you see the pink is the ones that we're currently working on, and our team is always out there talking with new MLSs, bringing new MLSs in. But you can't just go nationwide with a direct to MLS. You have to go on a one by one basis, which is why you see the blue, the red, and then you see some areas here in like rural America where it's gray and it's yellow. Now, in those areas, we also have data, but it's called third party MLS listing data, and it's also public and county record data. So that's nationwide. That's what you might find in like a platform like PropStream or Batch Leads or one of our great competitors. They all have this aggregated data that allows you to do business in every single market. But we've gone to direct to MLS. We're adding that on top of what you see here with this nationwide county record and also third-party listing data. So you can do business in any city or state. It's just if you do business in a blue area, you're going to have the best data that's available, the same data that agents and appraisers use, but it's even better than that. I'm a licensed agent here in Colorado, and what I know about the MLS is it's not designed for comping. It doesn't have there's no comping algorithm. It isn't designed to search for deals. It's essentially a place where a real estate agent could go and list their properties so that other real estate agents and people can see them in Zillow and stuff. And then once the house closes, and they go back and put that sale back into the MLS so that we have comping data. But that's all it's really used for. So what we've been able to do is get that raw data, bring it into Privy, and then curate it and make it useful for real estate investing activities like searching for deals, using comping analysis features, finding cash flowing rental properties. I'm going to show you again here in a bit what we do here at Privy. So one of the things that a lot of investors do, and I know this from being in the business for so long, is that we look for deals where we live because we think that, oh, if I'm looking where I'm living, then if I can see a property with my two eyes, my own two eyes, that it's going to help me do better. And the fact of the matter is that in a business where comparables, comping is the basis of how to decide where a deal is, that we have to be looking in areas where the best data is available for comping. And so what I tell people is if you want to think several steps down the line, there's a really good book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's written by Stephen Covey. The second habit is begin with the end in mind. And so what that tells me about real estate is that I'm only looking for properties. I'm only looking for deals where I know there's lots of investor activity, and the sales activity that is there creates the comparables that I need to be able to analyze the deals that I'm going through. So over here on the left, where I click this button that says fix and flip, that's going to plot on the map where all the real estate investors are at nationwide. And this is going to show us the high investor activity areas. So this is basically a heat map. It's a visual representation about where this investor activity is. And so these are all actual flips. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to flip in your business, but most of the time when we're measuring how good a deal is for ourselves, what do we say? Oh, I got it at 60% of the ARV, or I need to get it at 40% or 65% of the ARV. Well, that ARV can only be determined if you have renovated comparables. So you don't want to be looking for deals in areas where there's no blue. So Miles City, Montana, most of Wyoming, South Dakota, lots of Nebraska. This actually happens being in rural areas where there just isn't a lot of activity. So you should be targeting high investor activity areas. So these would be areas like Denver, Kansas City, Chicago, Indianapolis, Milwaukee, Cleveland. You can see these high numbers here. One of the highest investor activity areas in the whole entire country is Philadelphia. Philadelphia, look at this, over 5,500 deals that have been done in the last 12 months. Pittsburgh, as you come down here on the East Coast, Charlotte, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta. The highest investor activity areas in all of Florida is Middle Florida. So Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater are the areas that you want to think about targeting there, because again, that's where the ingredients you need are located. So if I'm trying to run comps on a property that I have, if I'm going in and I'm running analysis and I look at all the comparables, all the sales in that neighborhood maybe it's low activity just in general, but if none of them are renovated, then I literally can't determine after repair value on a house I'm evaluating. So you don't want to generate leads in low investor activity areas, because the data you need to be able to analyze that property properly is not present. So you'll make it a lot easier on yourself when you have to prove to somebody, and that somebody is either an appraiser. That appraiser is going to come in, and even if you did the best fix and flip that you've ever seen in your entire life, if when they go and they pull comps on that property to see what it's worth, if that appraiser has to use unrenovated houses as part of the comp analysis, then that squashes the amount of money you can make on that deal. If you're doing wholesale, then you want to be able to use those renovated houses to prove value, because you have to prove to your buyers, right? Those fix and flippers that are doing deals that are analyzing your property as a potential for them, they need to be able to see renovated comps to be able to analyze that property. So you only want to look in these high investor activity areas. So let's drill down on a market like Tampa. Now, I haven't done much business in Tampa. I've only done actually one deal in my career, but I can learn what's happening in the Tampa market fairly quickly by researching investor activity. So these clusters here, when I zoom in a little bit more, these clusters will actually break up into smaller clusters, and this will show me specifically which neighborhoods you should be looking for deals. So right in here, they come a little bit closer. These clusters get broken up more and more, and they get smaller and smaller. And then eventually we get so close that we can actually see the individual transactions that comprise those clusters. And now we can start to do our local market research. So this is one of the most important things about becoming an investor who actually understands what's going on, is being able to know what a deal looks like. And the only way you know what a deal looks like is by looking at historical sales. You can see what investors are buying properties for, what they're selling them for, what percentage of ARV. You can see that there are specific neighborhoods you'd want to target. Like right now, I'm looking like right in here, like look how active this is. This is definitely an area you'd want to go and start generating leads in, because that increases the chances that you're going to have comps that were actually flipped, which is going to make it really easy for you to understand the numbers. So you can see, okay, the ARV on my house that's unrenovated is what that house across the street was fixed and flipped and sold for. And that's what creates margins. You don't want to be looking down here in this Del Rio neighborhood, right? There's just not a lot going on. So you have choices on where you're going to be looking. So you want to avoid low investor activity. You want to avoid the actual places within these neighborhoods where there's just not a lot going on. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go and start looking at some of these properties. So this house right here just closed a couple days ago. And this report right here is called a live comparative market analysis. Live because it updates live with the data that comes directly from the MLS, the county record data, everything gets aggregated in this one place. There isn't anything like this in the MLS. I would have to go out and if I wanted to try to build something like this, even with my 20 years of experience and all the data available at my disposal, it would be very, very difficult to do. But what we do is we bring all this in one place. So we can see what the property looks like after the renovation. We can see what kind of materials they use. We can get design ideas. We can see here that this property came directly from MLS. It's got the MLS ID. We can see who the agent was. This was actually listed and sold by Justin Smith. So if you are looking to do business in a remote market or a virtual market, one of the things I definitely recommend is talking with investor-friendly agents in those areas who can help you get better local market insight, like where the cutoffs are between neighborhoods, give you advice on the best neighborhoods to invest. Also, bounce ideas off of. When I went and started doing deals virtually in the St. Louis market, that was one of the very first things I did is I went in and I researched like the last 10, 20, 30 closed deals and really got intimate about what are they buying them for? What are they selling them for? Who are the agents that were doing that? And I actually found an agent who became my eyes and ears on the ground. She writes the offers for me. She goes and walks houses. She takes additional photos for me. And I'm essentially being able to operate like I'm in that market, but not having to be there. So we got the property remarks, property features. All right. And then if I come down here, you can see that this is the comping section. So right here where it says we got all the comparables. So Privy has a comping algorithm, and comping is actually more of an art than it is a science. And so it can be troublesome for lots of investors because they just don't really understand the process. And so what we've done is we've built a comping algorithm right into Privy. So you could type the address of any house into Privy, or you could upload a list of homes, or you can look at the comparables for the houses like that you find using Privy's algorithms. But it does all that for you. So we got the sold properties here. We got the active. We also have these purple ones. Those are the rental comps. So about a month ago, maybe it's going on 45 days now, we actually partnered up with the largest provider of rental comparable data in the whole U.S. And it all comes from property management companies. And this data here is essential for you to help determine if a house makes sense from a cash flow perspective. If you're building a portfolio of rental properties, or if you are a wholesaler and you got buyers that are building a portfolio and you need that, or if you're doing creative deal structure like subject to or seller financing, you have to know these numbers. And in the past, what people would do is they would just search the internet for comps, rental comps, or they'd use like the Zestimate rental thing, which is just a black box. You don't really know what the comps are, or a company like Rent-A-Meter, where they're just kind of choosing a number. These are actual rental comparables. And the cool thing about that as well, too, is that we actually, regardless of which market you're in, we have this rental data. It doesn't matter if it's direct to MLS data, like I showed you in, say, Wyoming. We still have these amazing rental comparables. And a lot of times they have good interior photos. But this data is invaluable. It's the best rental comp data that's in the market. Below that is the deal itself. So this is the before and after data. This is one of the features that people love about Privy most, is our proprietary before and after information. We basically put it side by side. We can see what the house looked like before they renovated it. It looks like they bought this back in November of last year. They can see they got this from the MLS. So this is one of the biggest misconceptions about the real estate investing space, is that you can't get good deals from the MLS. That couldn't be further from the truth. I'm seeing people buy properties at a deeper discount from the MLS than people who are buying stuff directly from the seller in an off-market fashion. So do not ignore MLS as a potential source of deals. You just have to be able to get them at the right price, and that's what Privy helps you do. We can help you find that unrenovated house that's next door to the renovated house, creates those margins, and now you can find properties like this. So it's night and day, right? They even did the exterior, but look at how beautiful this place turned out. Now below that, we can actually see the numbers themselves. So they bought this house for 300,000 and they sold it for 515,000. So that's a $215,000 gross profit. And if you did the math theory and you divided 515 into 300, that would be 58%. So they got this house from the MLS. They didn't have to do any marketing. They didn't have to do cold call or skip trace or knock on anybody's door or sit at the kitchen table of somebody who's in foreclosure and have an uncomfortable conversation about them losing their house. It's not fun. So if you use the strategy I'm showing you today, you can find properties like this that are at 58% of the ARB from the MLS. That there's nobody who's more motivated to sell their house than somebody who raises their hand and says, I want to sell my house. I'm putting it on the market. And we know what they want to buy it for. In the direct to seller world, you're chasing around people who are in foreclosure or vacants or people who are in distressed situations. And 95% of them have stuck their head in the sand. They don't want to talk to you. And the possibility of you actually having a conversation with that homeowner and convincing them to sell their house is slim to none. And so this is why so many people fail in the business is they're so focused on lead generation and targeting off market, they're passing up on deals just like this one. We calculate some timelines for you. We can see here that this house was under construction for 253 days. That's the time from when they bought it to when they relisted it. They put it on the market, 32 days on the market, as well as in escrow. And in 285 total days is from when they bought it to when they put the check in the bank. Having an understanding of how long a project takes is really essential because you have to factor in construction costs, permitting, delays. No one property is going to give you all the information you need, but 285 days is probably a little bit longer than you'd want to take. But you can see here they just took too long on the construction project. Now, below that is the public record section. So one of the things that this is most valuable for is to really understand like who's doing these deals. So if you're a wholesaler or if you're a real estate agent, the most important thing for you is to find buyers. And the best way to find buyers is not by just meeting someone at the local RIA or somebody on Bigger Pockets who says they're a buyer. You want to find people who are doing deals based off the data. So Taggart Property Group, LLC, is an active buyer who's doing deals today in the Tampa market in 33603. We already, because you've got Privy, you are privy to information about Taggart Property that you wouldn't have otherwise. You would have to go and build a relationship with them, build rapport, and then get them on the phone. And maybe later on they would say, "Oh, you know what? This is what my buying criteria is. We'll buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, ranch-style homes in 33603 for less than $300,000." Right? This house fits their buying criteria. So we already have a sense of what their buying criteria is before even going out and targeting them. And that information is essential for you because now you can actually use these properties to open up the conversation with Taggart. You could do a quick Google search, like we can, do Taggart Properties. Just do a quick Google search. We can find their contact information on maybe open corporates, and then you could use a free skip tracing service like True People Search, or you can actually, if you want, you can export any of the lists that we help here. See right here, there's 299 properties that were renovated and flipped in this area. We can actually download this into a CSV file. So we get you up to 10,000 downloads per month that you can use for either building a buyer's list, or you can export lists of off-market leads, which we have in Privy as well. But the off-market strategy that you would do is going to be way better and more effective if you use this approach that I'm showing you, because we're only going to want to pull lists from these high investor activity areas. So again, if you can find that motivated seller who's in the same neighborhood where Evan's flipping and their house is unrenovated, and you get that house based off of its current condition and get a little bit of a discount on it, then you can turn that into a deal. So in Privy, we also give you off-market leads. So you can pull lists of like foreclosures, zombie properties, vacancies, senior owners, people who've owned houses multiple years, tired landlords, absentee owners. We get you up to 10,000 per month for free. Really, really powerful. One of the things here, right here at the top, this is actually one of Privy's newer features. We show you who investor-friendly agents are in these areas. And so we can see here that Giselle is an investor-friendly agent. We've got a bunch of agents here who are in the Tampa market who have raised their hand and said that they want to work with investors. So I can switch over and I can look at, like, this is Lex's information. We can go there and we can contact Lex directly. And then we can reach out to him and say, hey, listen, I got your information from Privy and looks like you are accepting clients right now. I'm looking to do some deals in this market. Let's do some business together. So we've got these Privy agents, and then you can also pull agents from the properties that have been renovated. So Justin Smith here represents investors. So that really, really cool part about that. So we know that from just looking at one property, that we've got Taggart Construction or Taggart Properties would buy a house at 58%. I'm already doing some local market research. I'm becoming an expert here, and I haven't even set foot there yet. Let's look at the before and after data on this house. This one was another on-market deal. This one was purchased, and they got it at 53% of the ARV, another MLS deal. Again, no marketing. Didn't have to spend a bunch of money on a mailer or be a salesperson. They found this right from the MLS. This was sold by Annalise. So Annalise Toledo is an investor-friendly agent, much faster. Look at this time period. 81 days they finished this one in. And then they priced it over just a little bit because it sat in the market. They priced it a little bit too high. Pretty fun, right? Down here in the assessor's data, we can see this is Best Bay Investments, LLC. So without very little effort at all, I've found two people who are motivated. They've got the resources. They've got the capability of closing deals. They need deal flow. Best Bay and Taggart Properties are two of those. So if I'm a wholesaler, those would be buyers I would want to contact. If I'm a real estate agent, I would want to talk to them too, because maybe you can help them find their next fix and flip. Now, again, if you're just doing your own fix and flips or you're building a portfolio, this is just good local market research. You can really start to figure out what your competition is doing and understand, what they're buying properties for. And then you can get better expectations. You can set better expectations for yourself. Like, who are you competing with? What percentage of ARV are they buying properties at? And then pretty soon you really have a good sense of what the local market's doing. And then now you're better prepared because you've done your local market research to identify a deal when it comes across the next time. That's an opportunity. Studying solds teaches you what a deal is. And a deal in Tampa is completely different than what a deal is in Dallas or Denver or Portland or Philadelphia. So once you find a high investor activity area, you're going to do your local market research. You're going to begin to build your buyers list if you're doing wholesale. If you're going to be doing your own deals for yourself, you're just using Privy to build your own portfolio or to find your own fix and flips. Well, now you don't have to necessarily work with wholesalers. Now you shouldn't discount anything that a wholesaler sends you, because if they've got that property locked up and you can get it at a good price where the margins work, then yeah, you should use that as well. But what I'm showing you is that with the Privy, you don't have to rely on anybody anymore. You can be completely independent. If you want to search for deals or run comps on a Sunday night while you're watching Sunday Night Football, then more power to you. You don't have to wait for people to do this stuff for you now. Now you can take the control back and run your business how and when you want to. So I would go back and I would look again at the last 10 to 20 properties, really figure out what percentage of ARV I need to be at, and build my buyers list, as well as find investor-friendly agents and just learning the market. Too many times, people who, especially newer people, they get so focused on lead gen that they don't learn the stuff about how to pull comparables, analyze deals. What is a deal in my market? Who are the players? All that stuff is extremely, extremely important, because they're just out there learning how to do skip trace and ringless voicemail and text blasting and cold calling. Is lead gen important? Yeah. But if you focus on that so much and you don't learn how to pull comps and analyze deals and really know what a deal is, God forbid your marketing works and you get a deal and now you don't know what to do with it. You're like, oh my God, is this a deal? Is this not a deal? I don't know. And then you're scrambling, right? So this phase right here is extremely important. And I tell you what will also come out of this, you guys, is confidence. Confidence that you know your numbers. Even if you are generating leads, maybe you're not taking action because you're not confident in your ability to properly analyze a house, determine if the numbers work, and make sure you're submitting offers that actually have a chance of being accepted, not lowball offers that have no chance of being accepted. But if you can find that unrenovated house that's in the same neighborhood as the renovated houses, then you can submit better offers that have a higher chance of being accepted. And it's a win-win where they can get a more realistic offer. You get a property that's got a good discount. And then you can take the data from the homes that were renovated here and you can prove to, say, a buyer or to an appraiser what that house is going to be worth. And it's going to be way better for you. Now, now we talked about how to do the local market research, how you can export lists, how to get off market leads. Now I'm going to show you how you can get some of these on market leads that you can write offers on today. So right here where it says find similar active deals, this is actually one of Privy's patent pending features where we take all of these closed deals and we use those as a model for what a successful deal looks like. And then Privy will reverse engineer that process to find properties that you can write offers on right now. So if I click find similar active deals, Privy's going in, pulling comps on all the properties in that area. And I'm actually going to adjust the filter a bit because this is the default filter. The default filter is set to 75% of the ARV. Well, when I was doing my research, I saw that the last 2 or 3 deals were below 60%. So I want to set my percentage of ARV ceiling at 60%. And then let's say I talked to one of my buyers. Maybe I talked to Taggart, and Taggart says, you know what, we don't want to buy anything more than 300 grand. So let's come in here and let's lower this to say $300,000. Now, well, the cool thing about this is that once you create your buying criteria in here, and you can have multiple searches saved. You can have multiple searches saved for, say, one for rentals. You can have one for wholesale deals. Maybe you've got another search to save, and you save it. We might call this Taggart Properties Search. And so now once we're doing this, and we get an email, and we can get emails up to every hour, depending upon how active you are. And it will email us whenever another opportunity is found that matches our specific deal criteria. Okay. So we could save that. And then that way you don't have to be in the system all day. The automation is like having a whole team of virtual assistants that's going through and finding only the best opportunities for you and then emailing those to you, and you can quickly analyze them, determine if they make sense financially, and then take action. Here's a house right here. This one's for sale for 155 grand. Looks like this needs quite a bit of work. Lots of places here where you can add value. And if we just come down here into the comparables, the reason why we flag this property as a deal is because it's down the street from a house that was just fixed and flipped and sold. So this house we can get for 156 is down the street from this house that was sold for 265 and it was flipped. And you can see here that they bought this right here and then they sold it here. So we know that's a flip. We want renovated houses as part of our comp set. That's how we prove ARV. If we have a bunch of unrenovated houses that's part of our comp set, then we can't accurately determine what the after repair value is. So all we got to do is do this remodel, this level of construction to the house that we just found, and we would get a similar after repair value of 265. So that one would be a potential deal. Here's another house. This one is for sale for 127,000. Coming down to the comparables, this one has a lot more data that says it's a deal. The more blue you see, the better. And when I look at this, I can sort by distance. We got this house right here. This one was fixed and flipped, and it's under contract for 250. This one's active at 290, pending at 280. This one's sold for 275. So this house, without any marketing, again, didn't have to cold call, didn't have to do any sort of sales strategy, is right around 50% of the ARV at asking price. Amazing. Let's look at another market here. Let's say we switch from Tampa and we go to Dallas. So one of the cool things about Privy is that where we have the direct to MLS data will help you overcome the situation with non-disclosure states. So non-disclosure states like Texas, you don't get the true sold data. So sometimes they'll give you a range, sometimes it'll just be a blank number. Because we've got direct to MLS data in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area, we can see what the final sold prices are. And so this house right here, we flagged as a potential deal. It's a 3.2, 1,404 square feet. If we come into the comparables section, and this says this property, you can get it for $160,000, and it's down the street from a house that was just fixed and flipped and sold for $300,000. So this one is right around 53% of the ARV. Similar bedrooms and bathrooms. Remember, all the data that's right here are true comparables, all true comps. I can edit the comparables section. I could maybe increase this to say our default delta for the square footage is 15%, but maybe I want to go up to 20. See if I can bring in another data set or two. Got a little bit more data there. I brought in another extra rental property comparable. So we can analyze this house from both a rental perspective and a discount perspective, like, fix and flip, wholesale. But, landlords want deals too, right? But landlords would love to get a property at a discount and know that it will cash flow once maybe you do like a light renovation to it, maybe you do some paint and carpet. So there's some deals there in the Dallas area. Let's look at, I mentioned Chicago earlier, was one of the best areas. You go to Chicago, that's Arkansas. Chicago. And maybe it's adjust the filter. I'm going to lower this to 50% of the ARV. So 50% of the ARV, that's a great deal, right? And especially if you didn't have to do any marketing. That's going to be a huge time saver for you. This house right here is for sale for $119,000. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. Come to the comparables in this house. It's down the street from another flip, but based off of these two houses, this property is at right anywhere from 46 to 49% of the ARV. Absolutely amazing. So I'll share this property with you guys. We got this really amazing sharing feature. This allows you to collaborate with your team. If you're a real estate agent, you could send these to your real estate clients. If you are doing wholesaling, you could use these links to market your deals to your buyers list. If you're doing fix and flips, you could send these to your lender, so your lender can see the comps. But I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat for you, so you guys can see this. I'll put it in the comments. Yeah, the photos are really very, very, very helpful. Oh, good question. So Koshi asked, well, what does it look like in an area that doesn't have direct to MLS? So Koshi asked about, say, Seattle. So if we look in the Seattle market, it will still work. You just won't have the photos, and the MLS data is a little bit delayed. So this house right here, let me actually change the filter a bit. One of the limiting factors is we put price at 300,000. That's going to be probably one of the biggest limiting factors. And I'm also, so you can see here, it's a street views, a lot of street views. But this house right here was flagged as a potential deal, 549,000. You're not going to see the photos because this is the third party. They come to the comparables here. We still have the rental. We still have the comps. We still have the rental comps. It's just that instead of these being with the blue line, they're orange. That's the indicator for third party. And then we can see here that they have, this house was flagged as a potential deal because of these properties. So it's for sale for 549, but you got this comp that is at 1.1 pending, 1.7 pending, and sold for 1.4. So this one could be a good opportunity. So that's the main difference, is the photos, and then we don't get updates as often as if it's in a direct to MLS area. Yes. Cool. So let me show you actually, I mentioned earlier, so you can analyze any property just by typing the address right in here to the search bar, and our system will build comparables for you, and it will build that comparative market analysis. It'll pull in all the public record data, so you can see who the owner is. You can see the transaction history. You can see if the house is in a distressed situation like foreclosure or absentee owner, if it's vacant. That is really powerful. And then I mentioned earlier that you can upload lists of properties. So let's say you got a list of, say, code violations from your local county, and you wanted to reach out to those people. You could actually download that list from your maybe your county website, and then you can upload it to Privy, and Privy will build a comparative market analysis and pull comps on hundreds of properties in seconds, thousands of properties potentially. That's a really powerful feature as well. Yeah, Amy. Well, in Michigan, we've already got Grand Rapids live. And let me show you real quickly here. This market. And if we go in and let me include surrounding areas, you can see here where we got our direct to MLS data. But once it gets a little bit further away, it starts to thin out. So we don't have Detroit yet with direct to MLS, but Grand Rapids and some of these other areas. Let me reset this because it's still looking for deals. And then, but yeah, we got live data here. So in Detroit, it's still third party, but Lansing, Grand Rapids, those are currently direct to MLS. But I think Real Comp is the name of the MLS in Detroit. That one's coming soon. And then northern Michigan will be third party currently. With pre-foreclosures, that doesn't have anything to do with the direct to MLS. So if we did a search for pre-foreclosures, that will show us irregardless of the direct to MLS areas. So listing source all. Yeah, there's some pre-foreclosure data there as well. So it doesn't matter. The comping data is where the direct to MLS is most important, where you are really comping with the same data that agents and appraisers use. So yeah, you can see here we got quite a few foreclosures, pre-foreclosures. So this data here is county record data. So it'll work the same in a direct to MLS or a third party area. Yep. Pueblo is third party, but a lot of Pueblo is Colorado. What's it called? Colorado Springs listings. So you will see a lot of PPAR data in Pueblo, but we don't have a direct data feed to the Pueblo MLS. Good questions. Cool. So it looks like some of you are interested in the Privy. We did put together a special offer for the Creative Real Estate University group. So let me put that here in the chat. And you're going to want to use a promo code here so you can get this special discount. And the promo code is CREU. And you're going to want to use that link that I just put there in the comments. That's the link to sign up. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you decide you want to go with the annual plan, you still have a 30-day money-back guarantee. That'll save you 30% off of our normal pricing. If the timing is not right for you to invest in the tool from an annual perspective and you want to go monthly, then we'll take 20% off your first month. That brings that price down to $119 for that first month, and then it'll be $149 a month after that. But if it's in the budget and you're committed and you want to come to our live trainings, you want to take part in all of the community stuff that we do, and you are committed, then that 1252 is a smart decision, because that's going to save you a considerable amount of money, 30%. Okay. Any other questions? I see that so many people have been putting their questions there in the chat. Julie's asking about Charleston. Let me remove these filters here. I think this is one of the markets that has direct. Yeah, so there's Charleston. Cool. What other questions do you guys have? Now this video that we have in here right now, it's gonna be in the Facebook group for a while, so you can go back and use it, watch it again. You can get training. Feel free to just share that with anybody who couldn't be here today. They can use the same link. They can use the same promo code, and they can also get access to that even if they weren't here live. Very cool. 62. There's a lot of comments here. That's great. Oh, Elizabeth, it's just certain areas. So where we have direct to MLS, if you have a specific area, but like, for example, in Texas, we've got direct to MLS in Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin, sort of the big main areas. But we wouldn't have that same level of data in like El Paso, right? El Paso, we don't have direct to MLS. So it's the metro areas for those major cities that I just mentioned. And so it depends on which state we're talking about. Cool. You're welcome, Elizabeth. Hawaii is third party, Michelle. Baltimore is direct to MLS. Yeah, so one of the things, there's a couple different places you can look. So we got our coverage map here. That's in the bottom left-hand corner. That shows the blue on the map. You could also see, if you go to getprivynow.com, under markets right here, there's a huge list of all of the metros that we cover. So like in Texas, even some of the cities I didn't mention that are still covered by like Netris, like Abilene, HAR, which is the Houston Association of Realtors, that covers Beaumont. So it isn't just like the city itself. So if this will help you get some more clarification on that. No, Lucy, we've got the MLS data is what you're using for analyzing. You can get on-market deals, but no, we've got off-market leads. I mentioned foreclosures, absentee owners, vacancies, tired landlords, owner information, mortgage information, deed data, all that county record data is nationwide. Yeah, Virginia, we've got all of Northern Virginia is covered. Everything north of like about Frederick, that's covered by Bright MLS. And then as you go down, Richmond is also direct to MLS, but Virginia Beach and I can't remember that other area down there where the port is, the naval base and stuff. That's third party currently. But again, one of the things that I wanted to mention to you guys is be very conscious of where the high investor activity areas are. Don't get stuck doing the same thing that most people do, is look for deals where you live. I wouldn't be looking for deal. Well, maybe actually I won't say that. Use the direct to MLS areas as reference, but also these high investor activity areas. So there are lots of areas that you just want to avoid if there's no investor activity. You can't put a deal together in South Dakota. There's no one's doing deals. You have no data there. There's no buyers. There's no interest in doing deals there. Some areas it's a little more subtle. So you just want to make sure you're targeting mid to high investor activity areas. That will help solve so many of the problems that actually prevent most people from succeeding, is targeting high investor activity areas. Yeah, North Carolina, we've got 2 direct to MLS areas, all of Charlotte, all of Raleigh-Durham. The team is working on Winston-Salem and Greensboro. Those ones are coming soon. That's the Tri-Ad MLS in that area. Yeah, I don't think we have it in Newport News, Margaret, the direct. But again, just find the best areas. I believe in that so much that I actually um, moved my entire life to St. Louis because St. Louis has high investor activity. It's better than Colorado. I was doing virtual wholesale deals there, all on market, virtual wholesales, using Privy, just using Privy's comping algorithm. And then once I got some deals underneath my belt, I actually just moved out there. So I practice what I preach. I'm not just saying that for the simple, ease of saying it, but I'm buying properties right in this target area right here. And then I can find deals to write offers on by clicking this little one button. And Privy will go in and find opportunities for me that I can write offers on. Let's see what's available today. I haven't checked today yet. 280, 199. That one's 62. That's wood frame. 500, 219. Look at that one. Older home. Just really, really dated. Wood paneling. Original kitchen. Something like this could be turned into a deal because of these 2 sales right here, 304 and 390. Would hope I can get it to this higher amount. Portland is currently third party, Rebecca, but I wouldn't buy anything important. There's no investor activity there, Rebecca. You want to avoid that place. Elizabeth, no, not currently. Right now, it's 1 license per person. Down the road, I think the team is going to work out a multi-license situation, but right now it's 1 license per person. Cool. All right, you guys, any final questions before I take off? Hope you guys enjoyed this. Feel free to reach out. Actually, let me put in the chat. If you need to ask questions, you can reach out to our team at support@teamprivy.com. Support@teamprivy.com. You can go there and get questions. If it's like pre-sale, just have a question or two. They can help you out. But also, obviously, once you get the software, you can reach out to them if you got questions. We got tons of live training. There's going to be a training tomorrow. So if you're so inclined and you're ready to hit the ground running, go ahead and sign up. And in your welcome email, there's going to be a link to the live training sessions that we do twice per week, Mondays and Thursdays. Live Q&A, tutorials, walkthroughs. We really want to make sure that you have everything you need and feel comfortable using the software. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much. Again, 30-day money-back guarantee. Take advantage of that end-of-month special there. Cindy and Shane, thank you for setting that up. We'll connect offline. I want to check what's going on with that link situation. I don't know if what happened there, but I'm glad everybody got here eventually. So thank you again for having me. Hope everybody has a fantastic day, and let us know how we can help. Bye.